Right now, as you sit there watching this very video, the blood in your lower legs might be quietly pooling, suffocating your tissues, and slowly starving your brain of the vital oxygen it desperately needs. If you are over the age of 60 and you find yourself constantly rubbing your heavy, tired legs or wondering why your ankles swell up like balloons every single evening, you need to listen very closely. You have probably been told by well-meaning friends or even rushed doctors that this throbbing pain, those agonizing night cramps, and that freezing cold sensation in your feet are just normal parts of getting older. That is a dangerous misconception that could ultimately cost you your physical independence. The shocking reality is that millions of older adults in the United States are currently suffering from severely compromised lower limb circulation, often brushed off as arthritis or simple age-related fatigue when it is actually a massive, flashing red flag from your cardiovascular system. You might be diligently walking thousands of steps a day or faithfully wearing those tight, uncomfortable compression socks. Yet you are still suffering in silence, feeling your legs get heavier with each passing hour. Why is that happening to you? It is because you are missing the crucial mechanical secret to restarting what medical experts refer to as your body's second heart. Today, we are going to expose exactly why your current walking routine might be failing your swollen legs. And we will reveal a renowned vascular surgeon's #1 targeted exercise to immediately improve your lower body circulation. This is not about buying expensive, unproven supplements, and it is certainly not about undergoing invasive medical procedures. This is entirely about understanding a simple, scientifically backed movement that can aggressively push that stagnant, deoxygenated blood out of your calf muscles and shoot it straight back up to your chest where it belongs. Settle into your favorite chair. Take a deep, comforting breath and prepare yourself, because the next few minutes of this presentation are going to give you the exact blueprint to take back your mobility, banish that daily leg heaviness forever, and protect your precious brain health. To truly understand how to heal your legs and reclaim your vitality, we must first look deep inside your body and explore a miraculous biological system that vascular surgeons refer to as your second heart. Most people believe that the single heart beating inside their chest is entirely responsible for pumping blood to every corner of their body and pulling it all the way back. But physics paints a very different picture. The moment you stand up out of bed in the morning, gravity instantly forces roughly 300 to 800 milliliters of blood straight down into your lower extremities. Your primary heart, sitting all the way up in your chest, simply does not possess the immense suction power required to haul all of that heavy liquid back up against the forceful pull of gravity without some serious help from the periphery. That critical assistance comes directly from an incredible mechanism known as the calf muscle pump. This second heart is an elegant and highly sophisticated system composed primarily of the bulky gastrocnemius and soleus muscles in the back of your lower legs. It also involves a complex network of deep veins tucked inside the muscle compartments, along with superficial veins near the skin and vital perforating veins that connect them all. Crucially, this system relies on a series of delicate one-way valves that act like secure trapdoors. When you take a step and your calf muscles forcefully contract, they create a sudden and massive spike in pressure. This powerful squeeze physically flattens the deep veins while those lower trapdoor valves snap shut instantly to prevent any blood from spilling backward. Because the blood has nowhere else to go, it is violently propelled upward, toward your thighs and eventually back to your chest. Medical ultrasound studies have actually captured this phenomenon in real time, showing that when you contract these muscles against strong resistance, the peak velocity of your venous blood flow can surge dramatically, up to 54.9 centimeters per second. This powerful rushing river of blood creates something called shear stress against the walls of your veins, which is incredibly beneficial because it stimulates the production of nitric oxide and triggers a process called fibrinolysis that actively dissolves dangerous blood clots. Then, during the relaxation phase of your step, the calf muscle softens, and the pressure inside the deep veins drops completely. The upper valves momentarily close to block blood from falling back down while the connecting valves open wide, allowing stagnant deoxygenated blood from the surface of your skin to be sucked inward, preparing for the next powerful upward thrust. It is a flawless mechanical rhythm when you are young and active. But here is the heartbreaking tragedy of aging that no one warns you about. As we cross into our 60s and beyond, a natural condition called sarcopenia causes our muscle mass and raw strength to slowly waste away. When you combine this inevitable muscle loss with a lifestyle that involves more sitting and less vigorous movement, this brilliant second heart becomes sluggish and dangerously weak. It begins beating with a lazy, feeble effort that fails to completely empty the veins. The medical term for this failure is ambulatory venous hypertension. What this means for you is that thick, oxygen-starved blood, heavily laden with the toxic byproducts of cellular metabolism, becomes trapped in the lower halves of your legs. This stagnation triggers a microscopic inflammatory war inside your tissues. The walls of your tiny capillaries become overly permeable, leaking fluid red blood cells and proteins directly into the surrounding flesh. This is the exact reason why your ankles swell up, why the skin around your shins might feel hard or look discolored, and why you are at a much higher risk for developing agonizing venous leg ulcers that refuse to heal. But the devastation of a failing calf pump does not stop at your knees. This is where the story connects to your greatest fear. When hundreds of milliliters of blood remain trapped in your legs, it means there is significantly less blood returning to your chest. This drastically reduces the volume of blood your primary heart can pump out to the rest of your body, causing a dangerous drop in cardiac output. This phenomenon directly contributes to postural hypotension, which is that dizzy spell you feel when standing up too fast, and it fundamentally starves your brain of optimal blood flow. Groundbreaking clinical research has now proven that actively stimulating the soleus muscle to reactivate this calf pump not only normalizes blood pressure, but significantly improves cognitive and executive function in older adults. Your mental sharpness is physically tethered to the strength of your legs. Before we can successfully rebuild the circulation in your lower body and restore your physical independence, we must aggressively tear down 3 dangerous medical myths that are currently keeping you in pain and preventing your true recovery. The first and most stubbornly held myth across the world is the idea that simply walking more will eventually cure your circulation problems. For decades, older adults have been prescribed daily walks as the ultimate cure, all for cardiovascular health. While walking is indeed incredible for your primary heart and is actually the gold standard treatment for peripheral artery disease, it might entirely fail you if your venous system is already compromised. Think about the mechanics we just discussed regarding your calf muscle pump. If you have already lost significant muscle mass and your calves have become weak and thin, taking short, slow, sluggish steps while you walk does not generate nearly enough squeezing force to overcome the immense downward pull of gravity. The blood simply sloshes around in your lower legs instead of being forcefully driven upward. This mechanical failure perfectly explains the frustrating reality why you might return from a long, dedicated walk only to find that your legs are actually more swollen, more painful, and heavier than when you first stepped out your front door. The second incredibly dangerous myth is the absolute belief that wearing compression stockings alone will cure your vascular disease. Yes, these tight elastic socks do provide a decreasing gradient of pressure from your ankle up to your thigh, which physically forces the superficial veins to remain narrow and helps prevent massive fluid buildup during the day. However, major vascular guidelines explicitly state that the long-term use of compression garments does absolutely nothing to resolve the underlying root cause of venous reflux. The compression sock is nothing more than a mechanical shield applied to the outside of your body, while the real engine, which is the active contraction of your muscle tissue, remains completely broken and ignored. Relying entirely on compression socks without actively working to strengthen the structural integrity of your calf muscles is a tragic mistake that effectively turns you into someone who is hopelessly dependent on a medical device for the rest of your natural life. The third, and perhaps most destructive myth of all, is the assumption that swollen, painful legs are simply a localized problem that has no bearing on the rest of your body. As we analyzed earlier, allowing hundreds of milliliters of your blood to remain stagnant and trapped in your lower extremities creates a catastrophic domino effect throughout your entire cardiovascular ecosystem. Scientific evidence has definitively proven that activating the calf muscle pump helps to reverse postural hypotension and dramatically increases the perfusion of fresh blood into your brain tissue, fundamentally destroying the outdated myth that your legs and your brain are disconnected entities. You must start looking at your body as one brilliant interconnected master system, where a failure in the basement directly starves the penthouse. But how do you know if you are falling victim to this right now? You must pay attention to the early hidden body signals that most people tragically ignore until it is too late. It usually starts with a subtle, dull aching or a feeling of profound heaviness in your calves by the late afternoon. You might notice that your shoes feel slightly tighter after dinner, or that the elastic bands of your normal socks are leaving deep, indented red rings around your ankles. Then come the nocturnal leg cramps, those terrifying, agonizing spasms that jolt you awake in the middle of the night, which are often your oxygen-starved muscles crying out for relief. Eventually, you may notice that the skin around your lower shins is becoming strangely shiny tight and perhaps taking on a reddish or brown discoloration. These are not cosmetic issues, and they are definitely not just the harmless signs of getting older. They are the desperate warning signals of a suffocating circulatory system. When you dismiss these early warning signs as mere arthritis or the unavoidable fatigue of senior years, you allow the inflammatory damage to compound day after day. The longer that deoxygenated blood pools in your lower extremities, the more pressure builds up against those fragile, one-way valves, slowly stretching them out until they can no longer close properly at all. Once those valves are permanently damaged, gravity wins the battle permanently. This is exactly why time is of the absolute essence and why you must act now. By understanding these myths and recognizing the true meaning behind your physical symptoms, you have already taken the most crucial step toward reclaiming your vascular health and preparing for the ultimate intervention. Before we introduce the exact exercise that will restart your second heart, we must prioritize your absolute safety. By performing a critical self-assessment together right here and right now, I want you to become the master of your own vascular health without needing to wait weeks for a specialist appointment, just to understand what your body's trying to tell you. We are going to perform two incredibly simple but profoundly revealing tests that vascular surgeons use every single day to evaluate the microcirculation in your lower extremities. You can do this from the comfort of your own living room. The first evaluation is known in the medical field as the capillary refill test. Please reach down right now and find a comfortable position to examine your bare foot. I want you to take your thumb and index finger and firmly squeeze the fleshy part of your toe right directly above your toenail. Keep applying that firm, steady pressure until you see the tissue in the nail bed turn completely pale and white. What you are doing in this exact moment is physically forcing the pooled blood out of the microscopic capillary vessels at the absolute furthest point from your heart. Now I want you to suddenly release that pressure and immediately start counting the seconds. Watch carefully as the color returns to your toe. If that tissue flushes back to a healthy, vibrant pink within 2 to 3 seconds, you can breathe a massive sigh of relief because your microcirculation system is still functioning efficiently and delivering oxygen exactly where it needs to go. However, if you are watching your toe and it takes 4, 5, or even 6 agonizing seconds for that pale white skin to slowly return to a dull pink color, you are witnessing undeniable physical evidence that your blood flow is severely delayed and profoundly stagnant. That sluggish refill time is the visual proof of the ambulatory venous hypertension we discussed earlier, where the thick, deoxygenated blood is trapped and struggling to move through your vascular network. Now let us move immediately to the second crucial evaluation, which is checking the integrity of your peripheral sensory nerves. I want you to close your eyes for a moment and focus all of your conscious attention on the soles of your feet and your toes. What exactly do you feel down there right now? Are you experiencing a bizarre tingling sensation that feels almost like tiny ants crawling just beneath the surface of your skin? Do you feel a strange, unnatural numbness as if you are wearing heavy, invisible socks even when your feet are completely bare? These specific sensations are not just random quirks of aging. They can be the early definitive warning signs of peripheral neuropathy, which is nerve damage often caused by diabetes or by a severe chronic lack of oxygen reaching those delicate nerve endings due to long-term arterial blockages. When your nerves do not get enough oxygenated blood, they begin to misfire, sending these strange phantom signals to your brain before they eventually die off and leave you completely numb. Now we must pause for a moment to discuss something of the utmost importance regarding your immediate safety. There are absolute red flag warnings that you must never ever ignore or attempt to treat on your own. If you ever experience a sudden, completely unexpected onset of severe agonizing pain localized in only one of your legs, you must stop immediately. If one leg suddenly turns completely pale, bone white, or freezing cold to the touch, while the other leg remains normal, or if you discover an open weeping sore around your ankle that simply refuses to heal over several weeks, you must absolutely not attempt any home exercises. These terrifying symptoms are the classic textbook signs of a deep vein thrombosis, which is a massive blood clot trapped in your leg, or an acute arterial occlusion completely blocking your blood supply. These are absolute medical emergencies that require immediate life-saving intervention at a hospital. Do not try to walk it off or stretch it out, because doing so could be fatal. But if you have just performed these self-assessments and your symptoms align with that familiar chronic daily heaviness, mild evening swelling, and dull aching that comes from weakened, sluggish calf muscles, then you are in the perfect position to safely begin the recovery protocol. You have successfully mapped the current state of your circulation, and you are now completely ready to learn the ultimate mechanical intervention that will finally bring you the lasting relief you deserve. We have successfully navigated the warning signs and mapped out the exact state of your circulation, which means the time for worrying is officially over, and the time for ultimate healing has arrived. We are now going to break down the absolute most effective mechanical intervention ever designed for restoring lower body blood flow. The profound solution we are about to explore is not some expensive pharmaceutical drug with a terrifying list of side effects, nor is it a complicated piece of gym equipment that you have to buy from a late-night television commercial. The solution is the simple, elegant, and scientifically proven movement, known in the medical community as the calf raise, or sometimes referred to in clinical settings as the ankle pump. This specific movement is not a temporary gimmick or a passing fitness trend. It is the absolute foundational pillar used in cutting-edge vascular rehabilitation protocols all across the globe. Because I know that our viewers at Seniors Hub 65 have vastly different levels of mobility, we are going to build this exercise using a strict progression principle so that every single person watching can participate with total safety and confidence. If you currently suffer from severe weakness, if your balance makes you feel unsteady on your feet, or if you simply feel overwhelmed at the thought of exercising, you must begin at level 1, which is the seated ankle pump. I want you to find a sturdy chair with a firm, supportive backrest and sit down comfortably. Place both of your bare feet completely flat on the floor in front of you. Now focusing all of your mental energy on the back of your lower legs. I want you to slowly lift your heels up off the floor as high as they can possibly go, while keeping your toes pressed firmly into the ground. As you reach the absolute top of that movement, you must pause and forcefully squeeze your calf muscles. This is the most critical secret of the entire protocol. You must hold that peak contraction for 2 full seconds. Why 2 seconds? Because in that specific window of intense pressure, you are physically wringing out the deep veins inside your leg, exactly like wringing out a wet sponge, forcing all that stagnant toxic blood upward and out of the tissue. After those 2 seconds, release the tension and slowly lower your heels back to the floor, even though you are sitting down and not fighting your full body weight. Extensive ultrasound data has definitively confirmed that this gentle, controlled pumping action significantly improves hemodynamics, visibly reduces ankle swelling, and effectively washes away that heavy fatigue in your lower limbs. Once you have practiced the seated version and you feel your strength and confidence returning, you must graduate to level 2, which is the standing calf raise. This is the standard variation, where the absolute maximum vascular transformation occurs. Stand up tall and place your hands lightly on the back of a sturdy chair, a countertop, or a flat wall, solely to maintain your balance. Slowly push your entire body up onto the balls of your feet, imagining that you are reaching up to grab a very important object off a high shelf. Once again, you must hold that top squeezed position for 2 full seconds, and then take 3 agonizingly slow seconds to lower your heels back down to the floor. The biggest mistake older adults make with this movement is bouncing up and down rapidly using momentum instead of raw muscle control. Bouncing is completely useless for your veins. By moving slowly, your own standing body weight acts as a massive natural resistance, equaling nearly 100% of the maximum load your calves can handle. When you force your muscles to contract against this heavy load, the velocity of the blood shooting through your femoral vein reaches its absolute maximum speed, creating a powerful internal river that scours the vein walls, clean and powerfully aids in clearing out dangerous clots. For the ultimate therapeutic prescription, you need to perform 3 separate sets of 10 to 15 repetitions. By maintaining that exact 5-second tempo of 2 seconds up and 3 seconds down, you guarantee that your calf muscles spend enough time under continuous tension to create the perfect, life-saving pumping effect your body is desperate for. I know that some of you watching this presentation right now might be feeling a deep sense of frustration or even despair, because the idea of standing up and performing multiple sets of calf raises feels completely impossible for your current physical condition. Perhaps you are currently confined to a wheelchair for most of the day, struggling with agonizing bone-on-bone knee osteoarthritis, managing significant obesity that makes standing painful, or recovering from a recent surgery that has left you bedridden. Please do not turn off this video, because the medical community has not forgotten about you, and this vital vascular script includes powerful, scientifically validated alternative solutions, specifically designed for severe mobility limitations. We understand that asking someone with severe joint pain to stand on their toes is not just impractical, it is unsafe. That is exactly why modern physical therapy and vascular science have developed incredible workarounds that completely bypass the need for weight-bearing exercise, while still delivering the exact same life-saving circulatory benefits to your lower legs. The first brilliant alternative option is aquatic therapy, which utilizes the miraculous physical properties of water to heal your veins. If you have severe joint pain or carry excess weight, stepping into a swimming pool can be an absolute medical miracle. When you stand or sit in water that reaches up to your chest, the water itself creates something called hydrostatic pressure. This means the water naturally exerts a perfectly even, gentle, and continuous squeeze on every square inch of your legs, and this pressure actually increases the deeper you go. At ankle depth, this hydrostatic pressure can reach up to 88 millimeters of mercury, which is actually significantly stronger and more effective than many high-end medical compression socks you could buy at a pharmacy. Furthermore, the natural buoyancy of the water instantly removes the crushing, agonizing weight of gravity from your fragile knees, hips, and lower spine. By simply performing gentle seated ankle pumps while submerged, or doing light water walking if you are able, you safely activate your calf muscles, while the water acts as a massive full-body compression garment that literally pushes the trapped toxic fluid out of your swollen tissues and forces it back up toward your heart. But what if getting to a swimming pool is completely out of the question for you? This brings us to the second truly futuristic solution that is changing the landscape of vascular medicine, which involves passive stimulation technologies. I am talking specifically about neuromuscular electrical stimulation devices, often referred to as muscle pump activators. These are incredibly small, lightweight, and completely non-invasive devices that you simply wear on the surface of your skin, right over your calf muscles. Once turned on, these devices send very gentle, completely painless electrical pulses directly into your common peroneal nerve or your soleus muscle. These rhythmic electrical pulses force your calf muscles to twitch and contract involuntarily, perfectly mimicking the exact biological muscle action that occurs when you are out for a brisk walk. You can be sitting completely still in your favorite recliner reading a book or even lying flat in a hospital bed, and this device will manually operate your second heart for you. The beauty of these neuromuscular stimulators is that they are so quiet and comfortable, you might even fall asleep while they do the hard work of draining your swollen legs. This passive intervention is not a shortcut. It is a highly respected clinical treatment protocol designed to bridge the gap between immobility and active recovery. Independent medical ultrasound studies have conclusively proven that even at very low frequencies, these wearable devices accelerate your venous blood flow and increase your blood volume, just as effectively as if you were actively doing the calf raise exercises yourself. This specific technology is an absolute game changer and a true lifesaver for bedridden patients. Individuals suffering from severe non-healing venous leg ulcers who absolutely cannot tolerate the tight, painful squeeze of traditional compression bandages, or anyone who needs immediate deep vein thrombosis prevention but cannot walk. The incredible takeaway here is that your lack of traditional mobility no longer dictates your cardiovascular destiny, nor does it mean you are condemned to suffer from poor circulation for the rest of your life. Whether you utilize the weightless healing pressure of a swimming pool or the cutting-edge technology of a wearable muscle stimulator, you now have the exact medical tools you need to forcibly flush out that stagnant blood, reduce your chronic swelling, and protect your brain from the dangerous drops in blood pressure that come from pooling blood. You have options, you have hope, and you have the power to restart your circulatory engine regardless of your physical limitations. You have now uncovered the profound mechanical truth about your own body, and you hold the literal power to change your future. Chronic circulation issues and the heavy, painful legs that come with them do not have to be an unbreakable life sentence. Your calf muscles, no matter how weak or deflated they might feel to you right now, are incredibly resilient biological engines just waiting to be serviced and restarted. The true secret to long-lasting success is not simply doing this exercise once and then forgetting about it the very next day. The absolute key is weaving these movements seamlessly into your daily life until they become second nature. Try doing 10 slow, deliberate calf raises every single morning and every single night while you stand at the sink brushing your teeth. If you are taking a long flight to visit your grandchildren, or if you are sitting in your favorite armchair watching television for more than 2 hours, make it a strict, non-negotiable rule to pump your ankles constantly to break that dangerous cycle of stagnation. Keep testing your toes with the capillary refill test every single week, so you can actually watch your microcirculation improve right before your very eyes. You have the ultimate power to take control of your vascular health, starting right this very second. Your independence, your physical mobility, and your sharp, vibrant mind are absolutely worth fighting for every single day. Please take a moment to subscribe to Seniors Hub 65 and share this vital video with any friends or family members who are silently suffering from leg pain, because this information could literally save their mobility. Leave a comment below telling us exactly how your legs feel after completing your very first set of proper calf raises. Stay strong, keep moving forward, and we will be right here, waiting to see you in our next health